Hi, this is Michael Uslan. You're listening to Batman on Film.
Greetings, citizens of Gotham. Welcome to another installment of Batman on Film's Chapter by Chapter series, where we break down Batman films one chapter at a time. So for this installment, we're celebrating the 60th anniversary of the one that started it all, Batman the Movie, released on July 30th, 1966. I'm BOF contributor Trey Jackson, and like Adam West's Bright Knight, I wouldn't dream of doing this alone. So joining me is none other than Bowling Green State University's visiting Batman scholar from 2019, Ryan Haas.
Whoa.
You might also remember him as the third Mario brother.
Yeah, there you go. Cool. Yeah, that's me. I'm glad to be here. Glad to be able to find the time to kick off yet another podcast in the Batman on Film family of podcasts on this here podcast feed. It's like I mentioned on some of these shows, it's fun to pop in when I see the bat signal, and just being able to celebrate all these different disparate versions of the character is always it's always a fun time. So it's nice to be able to break down a lot of these like long-standing Batman things that we love just a little bit at a time. Give it his due diligence.
Absolutely. And I knew when I lit the signal that you would respond. So Definitely appreciate that. So this one's going to be an interesting series because we've covered previous Batman movies on chapter by chapter, but there was always at least one member of the BOF crew who experienced the production and the release firsthand. This one, however, predates all of us, even our fearless editor-in-chief, Bill, who'll tell you that he was around, but he was too young to really remember a whole lot of what was going on back then.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be relying on the wisdom of history for all the factual stuff here. But I know we've all got really fond memories of the Batman 60 series and this movie in particular. So we're looking forward to covering all of that. So with that in mind, Ryan, you've shared your memories of the Batman 60 series on our companion podcast, Batteries to Power.
Right.
So quick plug to our friend Javi, who's covering all the episodes of season 1 of the show. Be sure and check that out. But Ryan, if you would, just give us a brief recap of your memories of 60s Batman and specifically your memories of this movie.
I was born in 1987, which means that my formative childhood years, when I would have been introduced to the character of Batman, meant that I was in this really nice melting pot of the very malleable melting pot of Batman content going on at the same time as part of this renaissance, and all different forms of media, all the way from comics, like in the same era, I would have like the comic books with Nightfall and Azrael taking over from Bruce Wayne, but also experiencing the Tim Burton Batman and Batman Returns and Batman the Animated Series, and then of course Adam West, Burt Ward, 60s Batman, all at the same time.
Wow.
And so Batman 66 as a TV show, like that series is my first memories of the character. I remember being at me and one of my little friends when I was a kid, like we just spent time with our babysitter, and we would watch. That was when I was introduced to Batman on the Family Channel, which is now ABC Family. They would just show 2 episodes of Batman a day, and that's where I was introduced to it, and the rest is history, really. But apart from seeing the random episodes of Batman 66 on TV, Batman the Movie, or Batman 1966, the theatrical release that we're talking about, are kicking this whole series off with today. Like that for me and a lot of other people that are my age too, getting into Batman, but also getting into used to that version of the character. Like the Batman movie, the 1966 Batman movie was much more accessible in home media than the TV show. Unless you were, because there was no like home video or like official home video release of the show until much later. Like I don't know, what was it, like 2012, 13, something like that? Or
it's only been within the past just over a decade ago, I think.
Like it's not been that long. So unless you had a channel, or unless you got bootlegs, or unless you were diligently recording episodes on VHS, it was really hard to kind of have easy access to that. So I just remember having the VHS of Batman 66, Batman the movie, and just watching it over and over and over and over again, and to the point to where like that I associate that movie maybe like even more so, that movie encapsulates what that series is, maybe to me like even more than the series itself, just because it's a movie. It's the grander, bigger, more important version of it. It was made at the height of that series too. Very famously, the original plan was to do the movie first and then start the series afterwards. But the way that it all played out, the series actually went to film first and actually came out. The first season came out, and then the movie ended up releasing the summer in between seasons 1 and 2. So so like everything, like it's so burned into my brain. Just like many other Batman fans, all of the story structure and the setup, and it's campy but it's serious for kids and funny for adults, and Batman with the bomb and the jokes and the fact that those four villains, you get them all in one film, was always felt like really like the highest stakes imaginable. But it also kind of cemented those four villains as Batman's like creme de la creme rogues gallery, ever since, in the eyes of the public. So I mean, it's kind of the movie and the series that brought Batman back that saved it, Batman from extinction, and it's still kind of a cornerstone piece of media, today in so many ways.
I love that you first of all, we were probably watching the Family Channel reruns at the same time, because that's my early memory too. I do love that you had your Azrael comics in hand while you were watching Adam West reruns.
It's crazy. Like I was I remember very vividly, like as soon as I could draw the bat symbol, I would be drawing the Azrael, three-pronged bat symbol, and watching Adam West Batman at the same time, and just being enamored by all of it.
Sounds awesome. That sounds awesome. I'm like you. I don't ever remember not loving this Batman. This is the first one that I ever was exposed to, and I had, at some point, the Family Channel did a marathon of several episodes leading up to the movie, and I had that recorded on a VHS, and I wore that thing out so much so that I had to save up and go buy like the clamshell VHS case, like of the official movie release.
I've got that. Yeah. It's the white clamshell special edition.
That thing was a treasured possession. I watched it daily for a few years, I think. So this is very, very formative. This movie's very formative because I was born in '86. So something about that age, seeing it on reruns like that, it's a great way into Batman. I still think that. Okay. Well, so before we get started on talking about the movie itself, in the spirit of the bright night, I thought it would be appropriate to bring a little game back to BOF podcasting. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, I'm up for the challenge.
Yeah.
We'll see we'll see if I get things correct. We'll see how good I can do, and I'll set the stage for success or failure for like all the episodes to follow.
Yeah. Well, it's nothing quite as involved as What Are You? Nothing like that. Just a fun little thought experiment. So we all know, and comics has established this, that Adam West Batman is the most prepared of any Batman.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah. So with that in mind, I thought we'd play a fun game called What Would West Do? So the rules are pretty simple. We're just going to take a scenario from another Batman movie, and we're going to imagine what Adam West Batman would do in that scenario. Any questions on that?
No, that sounds pretty good to me.
Okay. So for the first installment, I thought we'd revisit the world of Batman 89. So let's imagine that Batman, Adam West Batman, pulls up to the Flugelheim Museum to find Joker and his goons destroying the paintings, dancing to Prince, gas is everywhere, and Vicky Vale's in danger. So I ask you, Ryan Haas, in this scenario, what does Adam West Batman do?
First, he would probably order of operations. He probably would have to say, like, does he save the paintings? Does he look at the paintings and be like, these paintings can never be replaced. We have to find a way to save them. And I don't know, like, does he like take little? I can imagine him like getting like a little thing out of his utility belt and trying to like pick the paint off or like neutralize. I could see like some sort of like neutralizing concoction that like blasts, like undoes the damage or something.
He's got it on hand.
Yeah, totally. And there was actually, wasn't there? There is a Batman 66 episode where like maybe in the third season that involves like the Joker in an art gallery and stuff. So I think we could probably learn something from that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just definitely like he probably would have taken some like anti-Joker gas pill that would just that's happened in the show before.
Yeah.
He doesn't need enough of that stuff. Like he would have even more wonderful toys to kind of get out of that situation, I would think. Maybe even something that kind of maybe puts a tracker on. They loved trackers, in this series. I'm sure he could put a tracker on like Lawrence's boombox or something.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, it's funny. Your mind went almost exactly the same place mine did. his first concern would be for the works of art.
Exactly. Yeah, that feels like a thing that Adam West Batman would do. Yeah,
I know. Because what does he do at different points in the series? He talks about how music is the universal language, and
very into culture. Bruce Wayne is like always like on these like. I'm sure he was a donor to the Flugelheim. Like I'm sure like Adam West Batman would have been very deep into the preservation of some of this stuff for sure.
The other thing I thought about is this Batman always has a Robin. So he may not be as eager to just get out of there. They may just hang around and go ahead and fight it out right there, because he's got Robin with him. So they're not worried about trying to escape. They're like, let's just take care of these goons right here and now.
Yeah. That's true. It's the perfect. That's the the museum is there. It's a perfect spot to have, some bams, whiffs, and pals going on.
Yeah. So I think that if Adam West faced that scenario, that's the climax of the movie right there. Joker's off to jail.
It probably ends a little early. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was fun. So hopefully the rest of the guests on the 66 chapter by chapter can start thinking of what West would do in other movies, because we do plan to be talking about it. So, all right. So again, before we get into the movie proper, let's just, there's a couple of background notes I wanted to share. So the movie, of course, stars Adam West as Batman, Burt Ward as Robin, and then Lee Merriweather as Catwoman, Cesar Romero as Joker, Burgess Meredith as Penguin, and Frank Gorshin as Riddler. They also bring back all the supporting character from or the supporting cast from the series. So, like you were saying, it was originally planned as a pilot to be released before the series because the series was supposed to debut in fall of 66, but ABC canceled. I looked this up. ABC canceled a musical variety show called Shindig, and
Mm-hmm.
and they wanted Batman to be a mid-season replacement for it, and so they bumped up the premiere date to January of 66.
Mm-hmm.
So like you were saying, the first season had to be shot before the movie was produced. And the idea apparently was that they could sell the movie overseas so that when the TV show premiered, there would be enough overseas demand to get enough
Mm-hmm.
episodes made to go into syndication, because
Mm-hmm.
syndication is just how you made all your money in TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they finished the first season production at the end of April of 66, and they went straight into the movie production.
Mm-hmm.
And principal photography was 28 days in the month of May. I didn't see how long post production was, but
Well, it came out that same
I
summer. Like,
know
yeah, like it's
it,
probably it was probably like an extended, like, you know, it wasn't too long between shooting a TV episode and it actually airing, as far as
right,
I know. So I
right.
assume it would be slightly longer than that
Yeah.
for this movie.
The longest it could have been would be a month. So like a month of
Yeah,
shooting and a month of
crazy.
post production.
Yeah,
So I did want to like point that out just to reiterate.
yeah,
They made a Batman movie shooting and post production in 2 months. So
yeah,
I mean, to be fair, a lot of the sets were already built, but that's
yeah,
still pretty impressive,
yeah,
especially considering, how comic book movies are made today.
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So the movie's budget was 1.378 million, and it needed 3.2 million to break even. It wound up making 3.9 million. So,
Mm,
just for context, that year, I looked this up. The highest grossing movies that year were Thunderball, which is shout out to
mm,
Javi again.
yeah.
Thunderball made 26 million.
Oh wow.
Sound of Music made 22.5 million, and Dr. Zhivago made 15 million.
Wow.
And Batman wasn't even in the top 10. So,
Wow.
so it was written by Lorenzo Simple Jr. and he actually worked as a story editor by mail, and he does one of the commentary tracks on the Blu-ray, so that's pretty cool if you want to check that out. And it was directed by Leslie Martinson, who actually directed 2 episodes in the first season. He directed
Hmm.
the Penguin Goes Straight and Not Yet He Ain't. I looked up his credits. He was mainly a TV director, and this was kind of cool. He directed episodes of the Green Hornet and Wonder Woman as well.
Hmm.
And then he directed Dallas, and then apparently he directed a Brady Bunch episode where they went to Kings Island. I, I don't remember that one, but apparently it was notable. And it sounds like Dozier hired him
Yeah.
because he knew that he could make the movie really quickly, and
Right.
time was
Right.
really of the essence.
Right. And Dozier being like the Uber producer of the day was very much like, we got to do this on budget. And everything.
Yeah. Okay. And so the music for the movie was composed by Nelson Riddle, and he was also a composer for the show. I mean,
Right.
the famous song from the show was written by Neil Hefti, but Nelson Riddle was the composer. So for this episode, we're covering the first 3 scenes, and they're called the dedication and main titles, To the Rescue, and then Suicidal Shark. So in the dedication, I thought this was pretty funny. It's dedicated to enemies of crime and various types of lovers everywhere. There you
Yeah.
got them written on the brick wall as the movie starts. So then it moves into this opening title sequence, which to me is just an amazing trip through dark alleys with colored
Yeah.
spotlights, introducing us to all the main
Yeah.
characters. And it's got this epic, jazz noir theme by Nelson Riddle.
Yeah.
So how awesome do you think this opening title sequence is?
I've always just this opening sequence has always held a really special place in my little nerd heart, just because I had seen so many episodes of the actual series. It gets really baked into into your Bat consciousness. Just just like the main theme song, the main theme song, and the structure of how like Batman episodes work, where it's like, another blistery day in Gotham City, and this thing happens, and this thing, and then it goes to to the main title, and you see the animated stuff, and then it goes to the batteries, the power turbines, the speed, and they go to the, they go to and they go to GCPD, but like here it feels, like you said, it feels more epic, it feels more interesting. I was always waiting to see I was always fascinated by how they bring in the Batman logo with the spotlights that converge.
Oh yeah.
And then it just feels very pop art-ish and very comic book-esque with the way that they just kind of introduce all of the main players. It gets you excited about what you're about to watch, and you get the little taste of like all the little like by this point, like all the villains have their own like theme songs, and so whenever you see the Penguin or Riddler or Joker or Catwoman, like they get their literal own, exact little time in the spotlight with the colored lights and their little theme songs, and and it's fun. It's just kind of tells its own little small story at the beginning. I never understood the text and the dedication, and like what is even going on here. But again, that's one of those things where you just kind of like wait until you're older, and then it's like a weird, cheeky, like interesting thing. It's just one of those things of how this movie and this series is set up to kind of intentionally appeal to different demographics simultaneously.
Yeah. You mentioned the music, and I loved that part as well, because Nelson Riddle, he was the composer for pretty much he's listed as a composer for like all the episodes of season 1, so I'm guessing he wrote all those villain themes, and the way he put them together is I think really well done, honestly. It's something you could kind of overlook, but going back now, it's like, wow, he kind of weaves all that together in a really creative, clever way.
Yeah.
The other thing was the use of the colored spotlights. The movie is very colorful, obviously, and it's starts off showcasing it right away. Like you said, it's a cool blend of pop art, but also with like a noir feel to it. But I was looking at this in 1967, there was a Nielsen report that estimated that only about 16% of U.S. households had a color TV.
Right.
So the cinematographer for this movie is a guy named Howard Schwartz, and he talked about this in an interview. He said, this movie is for a lot of people, this is the first time they're seeing this in color.
Yeah.
So I think we kind of forget that because we're used to watching the episodes in color now.
Yeah.
But back in the day, this was the first time you had seen any of this, with the blues and the greens and everything. So that was really cool too.
Yeah. I mean, and even as a kid, when I would see like this opening, it very much reminded me of the classic Batman comic issue with Batman and Robin in the spotlight with Batman number 9, where Batman and Robin are caught like in the circle spotlight, and always in the black, it's a black background with them in the spotlight, and I always assumed like, oh, this has got to be like a nod to that, and I don't know how true that actually possibly is, but I don't know. I think there might be something to it, because that's probably one of the more famous Batman covers that like ever.
No, I think you're right. I mean, for as much influence as the comics had on the episodes of this show, you knew that they were really well connected.
Oh yeah,
and familiar with all the source material.
Yeah, absolutely. So many of the episodes of that first season of the show are actually grounded in comics or actual adaptations of issues of comics from that era.
Yeah. So, like you were saying, right away we're introduced to the 4 villains. You got Catwoman, Joker, Penguin, and then Riddler. So in season 1, I counted them up. Riddler was in 4 stories, which is 8 of the 2-part episodes. Penguin had 3, Joker had 3, and Catwoman had 1. So out of all the villains, only Riddler, Penguin, and Joker had multiple appearances. So the producers already knew, these are the ones we want to keep coming back to and working with.
And I also think, like, let's see, if you go and actually, let's see. So I'm like, I'm watching this on digital too while we are doing it here. So, like, pay attention to the order of the villains, like how they get introduced, right? You start with Catwoman, and it makes me what it's like, okay, is it, I don't know, is it alphabetical by actor, or is it random, or like, because famously as like for Batman 89, right? You have Nicholson as a first build. So I don't know, was it contract stuff for the villains? I don't know. Like I've always been curious of like how the billing falls for the villains.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So Catwoman goes first.
Yeah.
And then it's then Joker, then Penguin, and Riddler.
Right.
So the characters are alphabetized. I don't know if that means anything.
Right.
I wondered about they had to use Lee Merriweather for the Catwoman role in this movie.
Right.
So I don't know that anyone in the theater, I don't know there would have been that many people who like saw Julie Newmar on TV and maybe were confused, and maybe that's why they put Lee Merriweather first or something like that.
I don't know. It's like, or they just didn't care. Like, I mean, it was like you said, that like what Catwoman only had the one appearance, and she seemingly dies too. So you could plausibly say, "Oh, this is a different Catwoman," and they don't really mention it. Like they don't really explicitly, even when they come back, and of course, even when they come back, like to the series, they have three different Catwoman actresses, but they don't really, to my knowledge, like in the series, they don't really ever address it.
No, I don't think they do. I mean, but they do bring Julie Newmar back for season 2.
They do.
That's a whole interesting thing, because I was
and Lee Merriweather comes back as a different character in season 2.
Absolutely. So that's one thing that always kind of bugged me, is trying to figure out, like, get a definitive answer. Why did it have to be Lee Merriweather for the movie?
Oh, I thought it was always because Julie Newmar had like a scheduling conflict. She was shooting another movie.
So Burt Ward mentioned that in the commentary, and it's the movie he mentioned was called McKenna's Gold, and it also starred Gregory Peck.
Yeah.
But the problem though is that movie came out in like 1969, and they didn't shoot it until 67.
Interesting. So well, maybe it was like scheduled to. Maybe it was scheduled to shoot.
Yeah.
And then it got delayed or something, and they were already, I don't know. Like I always thought that there was some reason.
So I'd heard that, and at some point Julie Newmar herself said that she had a back injury, and that kind of prevented it. So it's one of those things. It's like you get different answers just depending on who you ask.
Yeah. That the history of that stuff can definitely get conflated over the years. That's for sure. And it's fascinating too, because like so I've seen this movie countless number of times. One of the most recent ones, though, it's actually interesting. Longtime friend of Batman on Film, and co-host of Straight Outta Gotham, Eric Holtzman, shout out to Finale 33. He visited me here in North Carolina a few years ago. He actually, like, he came over here mainly so we could go see Fast X together.
Okay.
But it just so happened that the it was like a cool weekend, because the History Museum here in Raleigh was showing Batman 66. They do like this
Oh, that's cool.
they do this really cool like movies in history thing where they can like they will like they will do the movie and they'll have some sort of like historical like exhibit type things around it before the film, and then when they show the film, then they'll have like some extra behind the scenes stuff if they have anything like that to show. Like if they show Men in Black, they'll show things about aliens. It's like, are aliens real? Like let's look at the science of it. So I think for Batman 66 it was a little loose. So they had like shark related things or like here's how a missile could plausibly do some of this stuff or whatever. But and it was presented by Skip Belsheimer of AV Geeks, which is a great cool. It's a really good in Skip here in Raleigh. He also does like some really good film restoration work, and he does things at the Alamo Draft House here also. But as part of that Batman 66 screening, it was really fun because like me and Eric and my daughter Nora, like we all got to like go see it, and it was like seeing it in the theater. It was the closest we could get because they show it in the big screen theater that they have at the History Museum or the Science Museum. And and so like they did show beforehand, and you can find this on YouTube too. Like they do have some select like videotaped like rare archival like interviews that that the media did with some of the actors as they were promoting this film. And one of the most interesting ones is with Cesar Romero, because he does the interview with the Joker makeup on.
Like
it's so fascinating because he has the Joker makeup on, but he's just wearing like a normal like t-shirt or something, and he's like smoking a cigarette, but he's not in Joker mode. He's just like, oh, he's just like talking like this, like a normal guy, and it's just like Cesar Romero, like not the Joker. It's so interesting. It's so weird.
Yeah. I've seen that. He seems like one of the coolest guys you could have talked to.
He's absolutely. He's definitely like a very interesting person. And like then you can go down the YouTube rabbit hole, because then I believe Mark Hamill, of course, famously portrayed the Joker in Batman the Animated Series. He had another story too where he like, I think it was around the time that Mask of the Phantasm came out or something. Like he like he ran into and met and talked to Cesar Romero like not that long before he passed away or something. Yeah.
I remember hearing Hamill tell that story. I don't remember the details, but I remember thinking that was so cool that he got to talk to the original Joker in live action. So You mentioned this earlier, just talking about, Cesar Romero and the portrayals of these villains.
Yeah.
I think so. These four are definitely, A-list Batman villains. They're on that top tier.
Right.
How much do you think this movie in particular determined, who's at that top tier?
I mean, I think the movie definitely cemented it. The TV show absolutely started the conversation, but then the movie kind of finished the conversation. That's the period at the end of the conversation. Of course, the series is definitely responsible for launching the Riddler up into that stratosphere. Because Riddler was absent from the comics for many years, and it was that, and in fact, historically, the big legend goes is that classic, Silver Age Riddler story where he's like spinning around is the comic book that caught William Dozier's eye, and that's the one, and it's the thing that influenced him to even open the conversation to make Batman a TV series in the first place. So like the Riddler as a villain is like, or the Riddler as a character is very responsible for kind of resurrecting the character in this way. So so the series like definitely launches that. The Penguin was so Joker and Penguin together were utilized so often, and there would be plenty of like team ups and stuff over the years too, where they would just kind of like team up together. And then of course Catwoman, just being a female and an interesting, like, that was not, that's not the most common kind of villain. So like
Mm.
the fact that they were able to kind of actually do that and have that be a part of those main four. Like
Yeah.
I think that was really smart on their part to kind
Yeah.
of cover all their bases. But yeah,
Yeah.
like it definitely had to be this movie.
Oh
Any
yeah.
of the villains, and of course it makes sense that the villains that became the most popular in the series were the ones that originated in the comics. It's not like
Mm.
we think about, the Bookworm or False Face
Yeah.
or like Martian Queen of Diamonds or
Yeah.
Zone Grey in the same breath as,
Mhm.
these big core four. They're interesting because there's a lot of times it's like you just think of these as like Batman 66 villains,
Mhm.
those weird 60s villains versus like, oh, these are the ones that are in the same like
Yeah.
sentence as Batman and Robin, but
Yeah.
different themselves. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, so I was on an episode of Batteries to Power, and it was a Riddler episode, and me and Javi mentioned the same thing. Like, I don't think that without Dozier and Frank Gorshin,
Yeah.
I don't know that any of us would even know who the Riddler is as a character.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think this show and Gorshin's portrayal definitely put him on that tier.
Yeah.
And I remember I didn't verify this, but I remember hearing that the producers of the show loved working with Burgess Meredith so much
Hmm.
that they just said, "We are always going to have a script available for you
I've
when it."
heard that too. Like
Yeah.
as soon as he's available, and I think it ended up making him. He's like he's has the most recurring
Hmm.
episodes in the entire series, I believe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I believe so because he was in. I know he was.
Joker's close, Riddler is more rare, and
Well, once it got to season 3, you didn't see
mhm,
as many, but I remember
right.
Penguin. I think Penguin was in multiple season 3 episodes too.
Yeah,
So
he was in a good amount.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I think that this movie, the show, in general, but this movie in particular, put these on the map. Just in the minds of general audiences, like, okay,
Oh, sure.
these are Batman's villains.
Sure.
These are who he
Yeah.
goes up against.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, just to finish up with the opening titles, we get, these various shots of Batman and Robin searching around in the darkness, and the guy in the trench coat running away, and he runs
Yeah.
past a woman smoking a cigarette. So all the noir staples are there. But then when the movie itself begins, we get this bit of William Dozier narration, and it's the only narration that's in the movie that, from what I can remember.
Yeah.
I know he narrates like when they're looking at what criminals are at large in Gordon's office. He
Right.
narrates that video. But as far as like Dozier talking to the audience, this is the
Yeah, the
only time that it
omniscient
happens. Yeah.
Desmond Doomsday himself.
Right, right. So, what did you think about the use of the Dozier narration here? Is that too much
Yeah.
like the show, or is it work
No,
for
no,
you?
no. Like it works for me because like I was saying, like the TV show has a very familiar tried and true structure. So thinking about but you obviously want to raise the stakes and do something a little different, make things a little more interesting for the movie. So I think it's the way it opens is a really smart thing to do. If I was somebody back in the day that was watching this, you would have watched all of season one, been
Mhm.
on that journey, and then they kind of surprise you and ease
Yeah,
you, but also kind of ease you in to the movie
yeah,
using as some of the same structure and setup. So
yeah.
having him kind of like launch the movie, it's just
Mhm.
kind of like it's a good way to do it.
Yeah, I liked it too. I think it's just the right amount,
Yeah,
because throughout the series, he would narrate like at different points, throughout the episode, but just
yeah. Depending on the episode, one of my favorite ones is the Clock King episode
yeah,
where the Clock King and his goons are like invading Wayne Manor, and then Batman and Robin are in the Batcave, and then like every 3 seconds it's like, meanwhile in the Batcave, meanwhile in Wayne Manor, meanwhile in the Batcave, meanwhile in Wayne Manor, and it's within the same like 2-minute time frame. It's really hilarious.
Man. I remember that. I've forgotten that it was a Clock King episode, but I definitely remember that sequence. Yeah. Okay. Well, so the Dozier narration tells us that Bruce and Dick have been called in as Batman and Robin to investigate a yacht that's in danger. So they get back to Wayne Manor, and we see one of, I think there's only 2 shots of Aunt Harriet in this.
That's movie. We had enough Desmond Doomsday, but not nearly enough Madge Blake.
Yeah.
Sadly. Man, we needed more. Needed more Aunt Harriet.
Yeah. And she doesn't have any dialogue. She
no
lays
dialogue.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure there was a reason for that. Madge Blake was very present in season 1 and a little less in season 2 and a lot less in season 3. So but I did wonder like why you had plenty of Alfred in the movie.
Yeah.
But not much Aunt Harriet at all.
So I had heard I had read and heard it talked about on another podcast. It's the To the Bat Poles podcast. They
that's a great podcast covering all this.
But they had found someone had talked about how Madge Blake she had a tendency to go off script
and just say stuff.
Yeah.
So or just not say the lines the way she wants to say them. Yeah,
right,
there's really good Adam West anecdotes on.
Yeah.
Let Madge say what she wants to say.
Yeah.
It's really good.
But very limited here. I'm pretty sure she shows up again at the end watching TV with Alfred, and that's.
Oh, does she? You might see like the back of her head or something. She's knitting something.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, Bruce and Dick, they run through Wayne Manor to the Bat Poles, then the Batmobile and the Batcave, and this is all very familiar. This is the exact same sequence that we get at the beginning of every episode of the series, but. I always enjoy comparing shots from the movie right here to the show because it's the same sets and the same action beats, but it's in widescreen.
It's in widescreen. Yeah.
So I was going to ask you, like, is the difference pretty noticeable to you? Like, does it stand out in any way?
Yeah, like for me, it's so interesting because for so long, I've just been watching it here on my phone while, the way that Chris Nolan intended. It's just like I've watched it for years and years in 4:3, like on the VHS tape, just because that's the way that we've experienced it back in the day. But I remember when this movie first came out on DVD, it felt like such a revelation. Like, oh my gosh, this movie it looks this good. And then of course when it finally came out on Blu-ray, which that makes me think, it's like, God, Lee, where's the 4K of this, guys?
I know. It's got to be in the pipeline somewhere.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird the way that it works. But but seeing it was so interesting because like it's when it's in widescreen and it's in that high def clarity, it's like I don't know. All of a sudden the production value looks more interesting. Like the lighting works better. It just everything pops even more. The series was very intentionally made to exploit the amount of color and everything, but it just looks more. It looks a little bit more grand, in this format.
Exactly, because Wayne Manor and the Batcave both they just look like bigger places here.
Yeah, exactly.
I always thought that was really cool. And the movie really leans into the bigger scope, especially when they take the Batmobile and then get into the Batcopter.
Yeah.
This is when the scope really takes off.
And that was always the plan, right? To kind of use these extra vehicles intentionally, and then they shot more footage so they could bring those vehicles in a cheaper way into the TV show in later seasons.
Oh, and they definitely did. The first episode of season 2, I want to say they use the.
Was it the Bat boat?
I know they used the Bat boat. They used the Batcopter pretty early in season 2 as well.
They did. Yeah.
But putting it at the front of the movie here, I thought was really, really clever way of just showing the audience like okay, this is a whole lot bigger than what you might have seen on TV. We're going to show these
Yeah.
wide shots of the city, like
Yep.
have the full Batcopter in view. So it's just really cool way of just putting you right into the world, right at the beginning of the movie. And there were some fun cameos in this Batcopter sequence. I don't know if you
Right.
picked up on these, but so apparently,
Well, you don't know who, everybody knows Jack LaLanne.
yeah, I was going to mention just famous, very famous TV star, fitness celebrity, and of course we all know who that is. 60 years later, yeah.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, so moments like this, not so much Jack LaLanne, but the officers saluting and the people having the picnic. These were the kind of moments where, when I was a kid, I took them totally serious.
Totally serious. Of course. Like, it's freaking Batman. Like, people are like, oh my God, look, it's Batman.
Yes. Like, if you're a police officer and you see the Batcopter, of course you take off your hat and you salute. And if you're out and about, enjoying your day, of course you feel at ease knowing that Batman and Robin are watching over.
Right. Right.
So, yeah, this was the kind of thing. It's like moments like this were like these perfect, like, I read it one way when I'm 6 years old and then read it another way when I'm, older.
Yeah.
So I was just thought that was pretty fun. So as they get out over the ocean close to the yacht, more great examples of how big in scope this movie is compared to the show. I don't remember anything quite this big in scope from season 1. I don't think they even could have pulled that off. But while they're in the helicopter, Robin pulls out what appears to be one of Chris Nolan's IMAX cameras, but retrofitted with bat wings. You might not notice it at first, but it will be significant later. Oh, and then when Robin releases the ladder, we get our first bat label of the movie as well.
Bat ladder.
Yeah. So helpful reminder that the thing with rungs hanging down below you is a ladder.
In fact, a ladder. Yeah.
And I even noticed that I always wondered about this, because that the boat is a hologram. Spoiler alert for anyone who doesn't know this, but
it's a tricky mirage.
Yeah, but the holographic boat makes waves with white caps and even has passengers walking around on it.
So it's crazy.
This is a pretty fancy hologram. So this leads into one of the very, very famous scenes from this movie. Batman climbs down the ladder, lowers towards the yacht. The yacht mysteriously disappears. Then Batman is helplessly lowered into the water. And as Robin pulls him back up, he's got a shark attached to his leg. So, Ryan, first of all, I want to ask, did you ever watch this and genuinely fear for Batman's safety?
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I knew it was like yet another, and that's the thing too. It's the first moment of danger in the film, and this being a film, you don't have the cliffhangers. The TV series is so infamous for its end of episode cliffhangers, but in a movie you can't really do that. So instead, they kind of have little vignettes all throughout the movie that kind of put Batman and Robin in really wacky predicaments, like you would see them in episodes, and so you're kind of left to kind of ponder if and how they'll get out of it multiple times throughout the film. So being the first major one of the movie, I was always like, oh, I'm sure he's got something in his utility belt to take care of this. And of course he pulls out the shark repellent bat spray. And it was this was the first example of, like, as I got older, I would start noticing, like, oh, this is funny. This is supposed to be funny. Like, this would always be, whenever I would go to visit family and cousins in Virginia, my cousin would always ask to, like, pull out this movie and start watching. He's like, I gotta see the one with the shark. And whenever the shark moment would happen, he would just, like, lose it. He would just die laughing every single time. But and rightfully so, because it's pretty hilarious.
Oh, it's fantastic. It is.
Yeah.
So in the DVD commentary, the writer Lorenzo Simple, he gives this great quote. He says the shark is, quote, somewhat less realistic than Jaws. So
Right.
that's how he decides to frame it. And then Adam and Bert in their commentary, they talked about this scene as well. So Adam was saying that when he was hitting the shark, it was making these like hollow thud sounds.
Right.
And apparently the crew was like, oh, well, we're going to have to record something else. That just doesn't sound like, that doesn't sound right at all. And Adam was insistent, like, no, that sounds perfect. You have to leave this in as it
Yeah.
is. It
Yeah.
just fits the tone so well.
Yeah.
So like you said, this Batman, he's the most prepared Batman ever. Not only does he have shark repellent, I wrote down he's also got barracuda repellent, whale repellent, and manta ray repellent. So he
Right.
is definitely ready for anything. The other cool thing about this is when Robin saves him, like, remember, this is Dick Grayson Robin, and I thought as a kid, I was like, he's looking pretty acrobatic up there, climbing the ladder and hanging backwards like that. It's a good thing Batman has an acrobat, as an ally who can help him out right here. Obviously that was me reading into it as much as I could when I was little, but I don't know, did that ever occur to you that this was like, kind of a daring rescue of sorts?
Yeah, like for me, yeah, because it's like Robin has to kind of it's Robin definitely earning his keep, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
it just I always kind of got confused when I was a kid, like, well, gosh, why did he let it go so far? Why how did he get that far under the water
Yeah.
before like they figured out like
Yeah.
that they needed to come back out? But it's fine. But and we
Yeah.
always we would always laugh at the like it almost feels like in it was an error in how they were shooting it where he like
Mhm.
climbs down the ladder and he has to get the bat shark repellent, but like he's like trying to hand it to him, but he forgets that he needs
Oh,
to get it,
yeah, and then
and
he
then he like
reaches back
reaches
up, yeah.
back. It
Mhm.
seems almost like it's a bad take or something, and they
Yeah.
just kept it in, and that makes me wonder like did they is that the only take they had, or did they just had that take and they when they were editing it they just kind of like thought that was funny and
Yeah.
they would just like and they just left it in.
Well, like we said earlier, it was a 28-day shoot, so they may
Exactly.
not have had a whole lot to work with. Um, but yeah, it was, I mean, watching it now, it's hysterical, but it's another one of those things when you're real little, it's super serious and it's a daring escape. Um, and like you were saying, it does almost function as one of those things that could have been an episode cliffhanger for the series.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, this is where we get the first holy of this movie. I think it's
Mm.
holy sardine is what he says. Yeah, yeah. So Batman sprays the shark. Shark falls into the water and explodes just in the nick of time. So this was actually pretty interesting. I was looking at the shooting script for this movie, and
Oh yeah.
the way the script is written, the opening titles were supposed to be here. Like
Right.
it was, you were going to see the shark, see Batman escape the shark, and then see the opening titles.
Yeah, it would be
So
interesting if there. I haven't looked, but it makes me wonder if people have done like fan edits of this that rearrange things.
yeah,
And
I didn't look for one, but I was going to ask you, like, do you think that would have maybe worked better? Or do you think it works better as it is? Or
I mean, I think I like the way it opens as is because it's such an interesting departure from the way that the structure is like in in the main series, where you don't always get like every movie even today you're not guaranteed this like grand opening where you have like like a opening credits montage where you get all the actor names and stuff.
Mhm.
Um, and it makes me think like I don't know, like would all the Batman, all the Burton Schumacher movies open with these lavish title introduction scenes? It makes me wonder like would we have gotten those if this movie didn't have that? Did this movie have that like have any influence over
Yeah.
that? It makes me wonder.
That's a really good point. Because this was 66, and then in Superman 78, we get that.
Oh
that
gosh, it's
pretty
huge.
elaborate
Yeah.
opening title. So
Yeah.
who knows if they had moved the opening titles for this one? Who knows what kind of effects that would have on later ones? That's
Yeah.
really interesting.
Yeah. Do you have anything in your notes about the novelization of this?
Yeah. So the novel was based on the script too, and that's
Exactly. And
why
there's some notable differences in the
Yeah.
novel. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was going to get to that in later episodes, because I
Yeah.
listened to the book club episode where they
Yeah.
reviewed the novel,
Yeah.
and they were asking like, why is the some days you can't get rid of a bomb not in there? It's like,
Because it was ad-libbed.
yeah, it's not in the script. It's
Yeah.
not in the script.
Yeah.
There's actually a pretty cool story. Like Leslie Martinson, the director, he talks about how they came to put that in, because it
Yeah.
wasn't there. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, a lot of cool stuff to get to. But that brings us to the end of the shark scene and the end of the scenes that we're going to cover for this episode. So that's going to do
Wow.
it. In the next episode, we'll look at 3 more scenes as the mystery of the vanishing yacht continues to unfold. But as far as this episode, thank you, Ryan, for joining me. I've had a lot of fun getting this movie started.
Of course. Yeah. Like, hopefully it's been a good introduction and a good little primer for everyone. It's interesting, being because this is an anniversary year for this film, but also, this is kind of running. This is a series that's kind of running concurrently with the episode, like like you said, the Batteries of Power that goes over the individual episodes of the series. So yeah, this is definitely going to be a nice little companion to that.
Oh yeah. No, the 60th anniversary. What better time to just celebrate the series and movie as much as you can? Absolutely. Well, before we head out, do you have anything you want to plug?
Oh goodness, like I'm a busy guy. I got a lot going on right now, but you can follow me on Twitter at SMB_Ryan. And I've been on more BOF podcasts than not, lately. Maybe I'll be on some more when things pop up here. I'm hoping to be on some other chapter by chapter stuff, especially for Cape Crusader season 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the hotly anticipated thing. I haven't been binging it, so I've been slowly watching it. So hopefully I'll be able to come on one of those soon.
I thought I was taking my time, and I've got nothing on y'all, because I went ahead and finished it. But I only watched like a couple each day, but I watched them in consecutive days.
Right.
And I heard Bill, listening to him today, he was saying he's only watching like 1 episode a week or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know how he does that, but like I think, I'm hoping to. The past few days it's been like, okay, I'll watch it, but I'm too tired. It's like, wait, I want to actually watch it when I can enjoy it. Right. So I think tomorrow morning we might get through a good chunk of them. We'll see.
Okay. All right. Well, it's been great having you, and hopefully we can get through the rest of the BOF crew, and there'll be room for maybe some repeat visitors. We'll see how that works out.
Yeah.
But as for me, just look for me and more of these episodes coming your way on Batman on Film. So be sure to tune in next time. Same Bat website, same Bat podcast feed, and we will have announcer Rachel take us out.
You have been listening to Batman on Film Chapter by Chapter, a BatmanOnFilm.com podcast revisiting the cinematic adventures of the Dark Knight, scene by scene, chapter by chapter. For Jett and Team BOF, I'm announcer Rachel. Authoritative, definitive, the original. Batman on Film. Established in 1998.